Hi, my name is Sarah Suhaimi, and I'm going to talk about intercultural transitions. The definition of marginalization. Marginalization is a type of cultural adaptation whereby a person or a group experiences social exclusion or have little interest in a dominant culture and the migrant culture. For an example, a woman from Malaysia followed her husband to Frankfurt for the husband's working purposes. But when he isn't around, she couldn't find any local community to share her culture, or also she couldn't get involved in the country's political, social, and cultural activities. Next is in-group versus out-group. So in-group is when a person is part of a group and they feel a strong belonging to that group, whereby out-group would be the opposite, a group of that a person does not belong to or loyal to. In easy words, in-group is us and out-group is them. I myself have experienced being a part of an out-group. Me having outdoor activities, like I always play go-kart, so I'm always the only girl and the rest are guys. So they would talk about guy things such as flying, car engines, vapors, girls, and they think that I have no idea about all these things, so they would just ignore me. So some of them just targeted me in the track and make sure they would crash my car and they would make sure I'm at the back. And these also do have effect on my feelings, whereby I feel invisible. When in conversations, it's like no one wants to acknowledge what I say. It's unfair that they bully me, and sometimes I'm pissed because they give so much excuses when I'm leading, and they have that mindset where girls can't drive. So I have also experienced being a part of an in-group when I was in school. We have a group with only the popular kids, a mix of different grades, guys and girls, in a very big team. So after a while, of course, there's dramas. And when there's too many dramas, I have made attempts to be excluded from the group. So I actually went off and made new friends. Because of that, I thought they wouldn't mind, but they were actually pissed off with my actions. So they actually boycotted me for 6 months, and that was the worst time of my school life. So what I did to be back in the group, I used the transition model, that is flight approach, fight approach, and flex approach. The first one is flight approach, whereby you observe, then you react. So of course I want to gain back the hearts of my group, so I approach the ones that I think is easy and I'm actually close to. It takes a while for me to get back my friends. I ask my close friends to talk to my other friends and persuade them to take me back in. So I did gain one by one of my friends. The second is fight approach. Fight approach means that you participate and you use the trial and error method. Like me, when I got everyone together, I still want to buy myself into the group. I still want them to trust me. So I organized a really huge party for my friends, but they understand that I still care about them. I still want to be a part of them. I even designed t-shirts and our logos, but that actually makes us closer. I have also experienced cultural adaptation, where I was on a holiday for a few months in London. I know London is all English, but their habits are really different than Malaysians. I could relate this to the interpretive approach, whereby there's two models, the U curve and the W curve. My situation was more like the W curve, but I will explain about the U curve first. The U curve model is designed to describe the emotional adjustments process of cross-cultural sojourns over time. So the U shape suggests the sojourner's well-being begins positive, so from positive to negative and back to positive. The W model is something similar to the U model, but it's just that it's double the U model. It starts off with the honeymoon phase, which is the positive one, and then crisis, where culture shock begins. So recovery and the adjustment, and back to the honeymoon phase, crisis, recovery, and adjustment. Starting off with the honeymoon phase, where this is a phase where you feel very excited being in the new environment, new culture. So you're very happy at this moment. Next phase, this is where you will face culture shock. Also symptoms for culture shock. You would feel homesick. You would feel very easily irritated. You would complain a lot. Frequent frustrations, self-doubts, and you withdraw from your friends. Next, recovery and adjustment. Different people would experience culture shock differently, and they would handle it differently. With time and patience, you would see the good side of cultural adaptation. So this would build up your self-confidence, improve of your self-motivation, your cultural sensitivity, and you would be more flexible and objective about your experience. So you learn to accept the new environment. And sometimes you can also practice the new culture, but just maintain your old culture. So back to my story. I was at the honeymoon phase where during the period I was in London. I was on a holiday for quite some time, 4 months. But then I was like really happy. I was really excited to explore because I couldn't drive. I didn't have an international license. I had to take the public transport. But I was there with my friends, and it was easy for me to go around because I have someone there for me. So this was actually the first time that I'm taking public transport like all the time. The last time was during school, but that was like really rare when my parents couldn't pick me up. I wasn't used to all this public transport here in Malaysia. Then I went to crisis, culture shock, where my friends had left because they went for another Euro trip, so I was alone. When they left, I started missing home, and I started to miss Malaysian food because, okay, of course there are Malaysian food there, but it is not as good as here, and there's only limited choices there, and somehow it's very pricey. So yeah, I was trying my best to move about. Feeling very down about everything, I started to realize that I'm actually somewhere else. I need to do something. I couldn't just sit around and being depressed and thinking a lot. So I actually, this is where I think I was in the recover adjustment phase. During this period, I go out a lot. I try my best to go around with the public transport until I got used to it. I felt very independent there. I go around with tubes and buses. So After a while, I even know like short routes to places, and then I started to love UK. I started to love London because it's so easy to move around. The weather is really pleasant. When I came back to Malaysia, I straight away go and see my friends. We hang and chill. But it was kind of different. After I have met everyone and I chilled for a few days, I felt very upset. Being home wasn't that fun anymore. And it's, in Malaysia it's the total opposite of Europe. When I got used to Europe, it was so nice because I can't stop comparing things here in Europe. Like over here, you see people drive recklessly, and in Europe, people would actually follow the rules, they would follow the law. Like over there is well organized, and I don't see cigarette butts laying around on the floors, garbages in the streets, and so I feel it's so hectic here when I feel at peace over there. So I started missing London badly, and I was a bit depressed that I had to stay here instead. After a while, of course, it gets better, and I would always think optimistically that I can always visit London whenever I want. So yeah, everything went well. I was back to my old self, going out, chilling with friends, back to college, and yeah, everything went well after that. This is the end of my topic today. I'd like to say thank you to Miss Usha for this opportunity. I hope this is a very informative video for you, and thanks for watching.